So, welcome to our program Talakayan, Inventor Jose Ingles Jr. Good morning po, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, and I understand, base ho sa nababasa ko dito, kayo ay isang inventor.
Yes.
When you say inventor, ano-ano po ba itong ating mga mapagmamalaking inventions?
Before that, I will introduce myself first.
Okay.
Yung background ko.
Okay.
Uh, I'm the son of Ambassador Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs. So, when I was 2 years old, my father was assigned as the first Philippine mission delegate to the United Nations with Carlos Romano.
Is
So,
that right?
so
Carlos
I
Romulo.
yes. So I grew up in the U.S. From kindergarten, we moved around from apartment and then to house later on. And because of his position, we were going back and forth, United Nations to Europe and here. But since I started from grade school, kindergarten and grade school, I acquired the American mindset.
Wow. Okay.
So in the American mindset, in the rural area, uh, it's just like any rural area in the other countries, except iba ang environmental uh, environment because the our classmates were of different nationalities, but mostly uh, the Americans and the Italians were the ones that are more populated there. The Asians, when I first came there, they thought I was a Chinese. So the Americans had a little bit of an impression sa mga Asian na because because of the war, merong mga nag-digest sa akin. So, but in general, the community background is that the low income and middle class family ang mga kasama ko. But then, because of the American education in the public school, medyo well-rounded na ang character development natin. So, we had values, except there was no religion in the public school in the beginning. But then later on, we were able to find a Catholic school, presentation school in urban New York, and Queens. In the Queens area, I grew up in the under the nuns of presentation. So I got a little background there, and then the mindset is rural area. Every weekend we go to the fish pond, and then everybody in the community would regard, and then would socialize with each other. We were a few in the of the sons and daughters of the diplomats there. So the Queens area at that time was very very good peace and order. There was no very low crime rate, and the most influential were the Italians. So from there, when my father was assigned to Europe, I went to the kindergarten in France, in Paris. So I I learned mentality of the French a little, and then going back and forth. I continued until I reached 12th grade in elementary. After 12th grade elementary, my father was assigned as ambassador to West Germany. So I have the American environmental background, and then I have the German American background in Germany. Bad Godesberg was a residential area. Bonn was the capital. We I studied at the American school in the Rhine, and this is the best of the German economy, which became the second largest economy after 15 years from the ashes, with the help of the Americans. And there were so many American bases in Germany, but in the community, American community that we were in, when we would have basketball, we would have basketball in the different German areas. But what I noticed about the American education is they have more subjects, more social subjects. And then what was unique about my upbringing is our American school had I had classmates from the diplomatic community, anak ng mga diplomats, from the multinational American companies, anak ng mga big companies of America, and then the American military. And then we had a few native Germans. And what was really unique is I had three geniuses for classmate. What I learned from the three geniuses after a few years of the high school was they are able to make the complex simple. And they would do things and solve solutions which the teacher never taught.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with that background, I became interested in science.
And that's the reason why you got into this
Yes, yes.
sort of
One of
inventions.
the reasons, yes.
Okay.
So we would do experiments on explosives,
All
making
right.
explosives, etc. And we would experiment on unique science experiments. And then after that, I came back to the Philippines and I took up De La Salle High School. What's surprising though, they did not recognize my high school in.
What do you mean? The
Well,
subjects which you took abroad were not credited when you joined?
were not credited
Wow.
as but the high school that I had
You were at what age already that time, sir?
I
What
was
age when you were in LaSalle?
if actually it was a long time ago.
Yeah, so you can't
I'm now
remember.
77
But
years old.
you are
So
now
77 years
77.
old.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm just trying to find out because, if you wasted, I would call it a waste, but it's not credited. But I know that you learned so much from that.
Yes.
And it, in fact, motivated you to become who you are now as an inventor. But of course, nangihinayang lang ako dun sa time.
Yes.
But of course, after all, you don't look 77. So, okay na lang yun. But okay, so going back now to your LaSalle days, because I'm sure our viewers will be listening more to that because now you're running as a candidate of Quezon City,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you should be a Filipino citizen.
Yes.
So are you?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I have been a Filipino citizen because of diplomatic status.
Yes.
We
And
have
are you the only son of
no.
Mr.
I
Ingles?
had one brother.
You have
and
a
I have
brother.
two sisters.
Oh, I see. And are you the eldest in the family?
I'm the eldest.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So take us back now to your days in school, especially here in the Philippines.
Okay. In the Philippines, I was called by my classmates as a mad scientist.
Mad scientist. Wow. You didn't punch them for that?
No, no, no.
You don't consider it bullying or
Okay.
something?
And then the first year that I came in, I had a very strong American slang accent.
You
So I was
speak
being,
like an
yes,
American.
they kidded me. And then after a while, after a year, medyo nawala yung slang.
Okay,
So
okay.
I spoke Taglish na. Yun.
Taglish.
Yeah, okay.
And up to now, you speak Taglish.
Yes, but I'm more comfortable speaking in English because for scientific
Science.
explanation,
Right.
English is the preferred language. Then
Exactly.
the other.
Especially there are scientific words
Yes, yes,
which probably will be too high polluting when it
yes,
comes
yes,
to
yes,
Filipinos.
yes.
Anyway, so okay.